It's 8 p.m. and here are our top stories in 90 seconds.
Denver is going to continue to grow, but we have an opportunity to do it in a way that works for all of Denver, not just some Denver residents.
Denver is growing, and it likely won't stop. Now city leaders are preparing for what the future holds.
It's really working with the community to understand what does authenticity mean to them.
We have in-depth coverage on the balance between welcoming growth and holding on to culture.
Not when I was breathing, but looking up at the sky, you cannot sometimes. I can see it where I can't see the mountain.
Hazy skies are suffocating the Front Range, and they may not be going away this week or anytime in the near future.
Yes, prepare for this to be a new normal.
The CDC director says the Delta variant now accounts for more than 80% of all COVID cases in the U.S.
This is a dramatic increase up from 50% the week of July 3rd.
Plus, Colorado small businesses are still having no luck finding workers.
We've got lots of folks sitting on the sidelines, and we just want to get them back into the workforce.
And they are now joining forces, calling on the governor to take action.
There's restaurants that are closing days and not operating, and they're giving up that revenue for their business.
We are following breaking news right now at 8 p.m. The Larimer County Sheriff's Office is reporting significant flooding through the Cameron Peak fire burn scar. This is a look at the area impacted right now. There are mandatory evacuations in place from Rustic to Ted's Place in Poudre Canyon. We want to get right to Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson. Mike, there are still storms moving through northern Colorado.
Jessica, over the last couple of hours, we had some very heavy rainmakers move right through there. And when you have it move over a burn scar, there's very little vegetation, trees, grasses, etc., to contain that heavy rain. So this is the area right along the burn scar area, the Poudre Canyon area, that is really impacted. So flash flood warnings continue in this area until at least 8:30, probably go on longer there from Glen Echo all the way down to Poudre Park. A serious situation there. We've had some reports of high water racing through that area because of the thunderstorms. Now, the storms have diminished in intensity just in the last 30 minutes or so, but there's still a lot of activity up in that area for the next couple of hours. A serious situation. There's still a flash flood watch, Central Mountains, until 9 o'clock tonight. Air quality advisory is in effect as well. So we are seeing quite a bit of thunderstorm activity moving through. I wanted to show you a little time lapse to give you an indication of the kind of heavy rain that we've seen. This is up in the area around I-70 up toward Loveland Pass. You can see that heavy rain that's moving through. So although we're not seeing much activity down here on the plains, a lot of moisture up in the mountains and more storms on the way in the next 24 to 48 hours. We'll update you more on what's going on in Larimer County throughout this hour.
We'll check back in. Thank you, Mike. And we have a crew heading to Larimer County, and we'll bring you more tonight at 10. Heavy rains caused this mudslide earlier today in the eastern part of San Miguel County near Telluride, and it forced a handful of evacuations. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Independence Pass was also closed for some time this afternoon for a mudslide. Well, it's no secret, the metro is growing, and it doesn't look to be slowing down anytime soon. The latest Census Bureau report from March shows 727,211 residents living in the city and county of Denver. Since 2010, that is a growth of more than 127,000 people. The city of Denver is looking to the future and preparing for what the city will look like in 5, 10, 20 years. The city plans to take into account an evolving community, a community design that will last while holding on to cultural heritage. And they are now starting a new position to tackle this. Denver7's Eddie Guajardo begins our in-depth coverage.
The population in Denver is booming. And as new housing and businesses go up to meet the demand, the city is looking to ensure Denver keeps its charm, something Denverites feel is slipping away.
What they do want is smart growth.
Smart growth that feeds into three categories: sustainability, equity, and design. And the city says the only way to achieve it is by hiring a city urban designer who will work with the community to preserve Denver's history and authenticity through thoughtful design and development.
Denver is going to continue to grow, but we have an opportunity to do it in a way that works for all of Denver, not just some Denver residents.
This is the city's first urban designer for Denver, a position held in only 3 other major cities, New York, Chicago, and LA. The designer will collaborate on projects across Denver County.
Working with the community to understand what does authenticity mean to them, and then how do we support that through a regulatory framework, through guidelines, urban design guidelines, to help support their vision.
The creator will use Blueprint Denver, a citywide land use plan, as a roadmap to identify community priorities. Jason and Corrine moved just off Pearl Street in the Platt Park neighborhood last October.
It's nice having the nicer, newer homes also, but I think it would be a shame if we lost some of the old 1920s bungalows and the Victorians. I think that would just be a crime.
I agree.
They say they love getting to know the small shop owners and being able to walk to restaurants and nearby parks. What they don't want?
Everything scraped off and new builds.
The planner will work to create walkable communities featuring art and will help ensure new housing fits the neighborhood feel. They will help shape major projects like the revamp of 16th Street Mall and the River Mile, where parking lots will be turned into mixed-use spaces. As Denver grows, so will the vision to keep communities connected. Addie Guajardo, Denver7.
Addie, thank you. These decisions are going to directly impact you, so we want to make sure you have a voice. How do you think the city of Denver should handle this new position and growth in our city in general? You can share your views by emailing us 360@thedenverchannel.com. The Delta variant is now making up a vast majority of new COVID cases in the U.S. The COVID response team testified on Capitol Hill today, saying the U.S. has the tools to end the pandemic with vaccines. ABC's Faith Abube has the latest from Washington.
Good morning.
CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky on Capitol Hill Tuesday telling lawmakers the Delta variant now accounts for at least 83% of all COVID cases in the U.S.
This is a dramatic increase up from 50% the week of July 3rd. We have averaged 239 deaths per day, an increase of nearly 48% over the prior week.
But the U.S. vaccination rate not matching the threat posed by the highly contagious COVID variant. Immunizations ticking up only 1.2% in the past week. Walensky saying nearly 2/3 of U.S. counties have fewer than 40% of their residents vaccinated.
The overwhelming majority of deaths from COVID-19 are now occurring in unvaccinated people. Vaccines are widely available across the country, and this suffering and loss is simply and entirely preventable.
As of Monday, 116 COVID patients were in Illinois ICUs and 43 patients were on ventilators. Chicago's mayor warning pandemic restrictions could return if residents don't get vaccinated. In Georgia, 38-year-old Vicky Mae Norrid left work when she couldn't breathe. The unvaccinated mother now in the hospital battling the Delta variant and pneumonia. Her family now reconsidering their own decision to not get the COVID shot.
Watching someone you love go through it changes your opinion with it.
But as the White House pushes for more people to get vaccinated, breakthrough infections raising concerns. Several high-profile cases reported in recent days. A fully vaccinated senior aide to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi among the latest to test positive for COVID-19. But health officials stress the vaccines work, with the unvaccinated making up 97% of all COVID patients in hospitals.
So when you hear about a breakthrough infection, that doesn't necessarily mean the vaccine is failing.
In Washington, Faith Abube, ABC News.
More than 170 community members and businesses have sent a letter to Governor Polis asking him to end the extended unemployment benefits early. Small businesses say they're struggling to hire workers and believe many people are choosing to stay home and collect unemployment rather than make a similar wage by working. A spokesperson for the governor's office says, in part, quote, to reject federal unemployment benefits would be rejecting hundreds of millions of dollars coming into the state of Colorado. The governor's office says ending the benefits early would drain $600 to $800 million out of our state.
2, 1.
On our way to space with our first human crew.
A major step for the future of space tourism in our country.
What we're doing is the first step of something big.
Billionaire Jeff Bezos celebrates his first launch with passengers, possibly opening the door for ordinary people to do the same.
So I think the next couple of years are going to tell us a lot about what that market ends up looking like. And if demand is high, costs come down.
We've had some good gully washers on the western side of the state. Will we see some rain in Denver tomorrow?
And coming up later, sick of thieves stealing her packages, one woman is doing her best to get even.
Like, that's typically my answer. Just, let's find the humor in it. And if they're gonna mess with us, we'll mess with them.